back to my channel. It's Itstyra.j and I'm back with another video. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about 10 things that I wish I knew before I moved to Atlanta. So if you guys don't know, I've been living in Atlanta since April of 2021 and it's now December of 2022, so I've been here for a little over a year. Well, kind of more than a little over a year. I'm going into like almost my second year mark now living in Atlanta. So I moved out here when I was 20 years old and it wasn't an easy transition, but I'm here now. I moved here from New York. I was living in Queens at the time and now I'm here. So here's 10 things that I wish that I knew before I moved out here. Before I get into this video, make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. It helps me out so much. And make sure you guys are also following me on all my social medias. They'll be linked down in the description box. And you'll also see them on the screen somewhere so you just know where to find me. The first thing I wish I knew before moving to Atlanta is how expensive the cost of living actually is. So I thought that moving to the South was gonna be cheap. Like, of course it's a little bit cheaper than New York, yes, like it definitely is. You get more bang for your buck when it comes to apartments, houses, you know, living situations. It is cheaper, or not that it's cheaper, you just get more space for what you're spending your money on. For example, if you're paying $1,500 for an apartment out here, you can get yourself something really nice. But in New York, $1,500 could get you like a basement or something. So, you know, like that's pretty much what I did not know. I did not know it was so expensive out here. The price comparisons from here to New York, it's pretty much the same. I feel like in Atlanta, there's no like free street parking really. Like you always gotta pay, it's like $1 or $2, but you always gotta pay to park somewhere. Like I live in like the middle of the city, so like for me, like I'm always paying for parking whenever I go anywhere, unless they have like a parking lot, and most of the time parking lots be full. So yeah. The second thing that I wish I knew before moving out here was the actual geography of Georgia. Like I really did not understand, like Atlanta is literally just the city of Atlanta. Like if you don't live here, you kind of are under the impression that like Atlanta is Georgia, Georgia's Atlanta. Like I got out here and I realized that there's so much like sub areas that you can live in that's super close to the city without actually living in the city. So when I got out here, like I was under the impression like I wanted to move to Atlanta, so I have to live in the city of Atlanta, not knowing how expensive it was. So something that I would definitely recommend is doing your research on living in the city and also doing your research on living on the outskirts, like knowing Decatur, Dunwoody, Sandy Springs, Norcross, like knowing the surrounding areas of the city and like how long the commute is getting into the city. If you don't have a car and you're trying to move out here, I definitely do understand why you'd want to live right in the middle, because like it's a little bit easier to get around with Uber or whatever form of transportation you're going to use. But if you do have a car, I definitely recommend probably moving close to Atlanta but on the outside of Atlanta, because it's really expensive to live in the city. The next thing that I didn't know is how kind of messed up the people are here. Like I'm not saying like messed up like all of them. Like of course there's southern hospitality, of course there's like really nice people, but what I'm trying to say is like if you are like in a certain setting or you surround yourself with certain people really are like, I don't know what to say, like grimy out here. Like they're like really messed up, you know what I'm saying? Like they will really like kind of F you over for their benefit. And I know that's everywhere, but I feel like that's like a part of the culture out here. Like don't let nobody in your house, don't let nobody know how much money you got, don't let nobody use your stuff. Like just be very aware of who you're dealing with and don't trust nobody too easy. The next thing that I would say is carry your own weapon. So that's like everybody has a different idea on firearms. Everybody, like, you know, clearly some people are not for them, some people are, but as you know, Georgia is an open carry state. So when I got out here, I didn't have my own firearm for a long time. So when I finally did get it, I did feel more protected, because I would see people walking into the gas stations with their gun on their hip, and like I would see like, you know, men like, you know, walking on the street with their gun showing. So it's like, okay, as a female, knowing that everybody in this state over the age of 18 is probably carrying a firearm, I would be crazy to be the one person in a setting without one. Like I want to know that I could defend myself, especially like, you know, you know, being a woman and being a young lady, like, you want to know that you can defend yourself. So purchasing a firearm, I would recommend it. If it's against what you stand for, I'm definitely not trying to promote it, but I would definitely say if you're living in the state of Georgia and you have the means and the rights to get one, I would recommend getting one, because like you can never know. Like, you really never know. There's been so much crazy stuff happening, like especially if you're gonna be working in the nightlife, if you're gonna be leaving a job, if you're living alone. You want to make sure that at any given time you're able to like defend yourself, especially against like these men out here. So I definitely do recommend getting your own firearm if you're gonna be coming out here. They're not super expensive. Like, you know, if you want something, you know, nice that works and is not gonna like jam up on you, they're not super expensive. They're actually more affordable than I thought they were. So if you find like a nice gun shop, or you go to like the academy, or you know, wherever you want to go purchase, that's up to you. Like, get one, learn how to use one, get your permit if you want to. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just make sure that you're protected. The next thing I want to get into that I did not know was how cold it really gets out here. So I was under the impression that it was gonna be the South and I'm not gonna feel no weather under 70 degrees. I was wrong. Like, it got so cold out here last winter. This winter has not been that bad. Like, it was probably cold for 1 week straight when it was like 30 degrees the whole week. But now it's been like 60, 70, 50 sometimes, 46 probably the lowest right now. But it gets cold though. Like, it's not like Montclair cold, but it's cold. So erase all the ideas you had of coming to the South and not needing your Uggs and not needing your jacket. You need your jacket. I left my winter jacket in New York thinking that I was not gonna need it, and I need it. So like, I definitely would say like it really gets cold out here, and I feel like the cold months don't really start until the end of November going into December, January, February, and then like in March it's warm again. So it only really gets cold for 3 months, but it gets cold out here. You're gonna need your Uggs, you're gonna need that winter jacket. You know, probably not the whole winter like in New York, but you're gonna need it for at least a week or two, or probably a month. Like, bring your jacket, it gets cold. The next thing I didn't know was there was like a lack of culture, and I'm not gonna say that it's like a lack of culture in general, because I feel like Atlanta or Georgia itself, no, let me scratch that. I feel like Georgia itself has a lot of different culture in its own, like Southern culture. But I feel like when I'm talking about culture, I'm talking about the Jamaicans and the Haitians and the Trinidadians, the Guyanese people, the Bajans, like, you know, like I'm so used to like Caribbean culture and like having like being around Asian culture and Indian culture and just so much different culture around you. Like, New York is like a melting pot. So coming out here and not seeing anything but black people and the occasional white person, I'm just like, where is everybody else? Like, you know what I'm saying? But then it's okay, because this is not New York obviously, and it's a different demographic, so you get used to it. But I feel like with New York, what came with that culture was like different food places, different like attractions, different stuff to do came with all those cultures. So I feel like out here, when it came to looking for food, when it came to like looking for stuff to do, it was like, okay, we're going to a lounge, we're going to smoke hookah and get a drink, and you know, and listen to Young Dolph and Lil Boosie in the club. Like, I feel like that was just so out of my comfort zone, because I wanted to hear like Caribbean music, I wanted to hear what was like actually going on in New York, but that's not the case here at all. Yeah, so if you're used to culture and you love culture, like you really like being around culture, you like, if you're from Brooklyn and you see that person like making jerk chicken on the corner of the fucking street, like if you're used to that and you like all that, like, you know, little like urban, like real like cultural stuff, I would recommend not moving here. But if you don't mind like Southern culture, like people saying good morning to you on the street, and like, you know, just not like people don't know what Guyanese people are out here. People don't be knowing what Bajans are out here. Like it's like that, y'all. Like, it's like that. The next thing is that people cannot drive. So I feel like out here, a lot of drivers are nicer than in New York. Nobody's gonna be blowing their horn at you like super hard for super long. Nobody's gonna be real aggressive with you out here like the drivers in New York. They're not gonna tailgate you like that out here, but they are gonna be apprehensive. They're gonna stop short and brake. Like, they're gonna brake really short a lot of the time. Like, you're almost gonna hit somebody every other day. Like, I feel like driving out here, it's not hard, but it's just that you have to deal with a lot of other people coming from different states. So you're gonna deal with people from Alabama, from Florida, you know, coming into this one state. All these people from the South are coming into this one state. And then you got the New York drivers that don't understand that we don't tailgate out here. So you gotta back up and leave a little space in between. Like, it's just so much different drivers out here that it's just like, you really have to be alert until you learn how to drive like everybody else. And until you get out here and start driving, you're not gonna know what I mean. So great doors for opportunity. That's the next thing. I feel like if you're coming here to start a business, this is the place to do it. Everybody always says that. Like, if you tell anybody like, oh, like I'm here and I do hair and I do nails or I do anything, they're gonna tell you you're in the right place. So don't take that lightly. And just because you don't get clientele in the first like year or two, you know, like, keep going, because when they tell you you're in the right place, you gotta believe it. Like, you're really in the right place when it comes to starting your own business, being an entrepreneur. Like, Atlanta is the mecca of like flourishing black businesses. Like, this is the one place that I can say on every single corner there's a black owned business. If you go to New York, you can't say that. You go to California, you can't say that. Like, this is the one place where a whole city, even the outskirts of this city, but like predominantly Atlanta, this is a whole city that is full of black businesses and full of black money and black excellence and entrepreneurship. Like, it's like when you get out here and you really like see what people are on, like, you really have to step your game up. Like, these girls are really out here putting work in to make this money. Like, these dudes are really out here putting work in to make this money. So I feel like it's great. I think it's good motivation, because even when you go on Instagram every day, you see somebody at 22 years old with a new Benz, like, and it's like, I understand that you can't compare yourself to social media, but you also can take it as like a motivational factor and be like, wow, like, I'm really in the right place to be doing what I need to do. The next thing I was gonna say is that the people are nicer. They're obviously not as aggressive as people in New York. Like, people don't really walk fast out here. They're not gonna bump into you like, excuse me. Like, they're not gonna be so like hostile towards you. Some people, of course, got the attitude. Some people just ghetto, or out here, they're not even ghetto out here. They call it being country. Like, some people just country as hell, so you don't mind them. But some people really have southern hospitality, and they gonna tell you good morning, even if you don't know them. Literally, somebody tells me good morning every single morning. I don't know nobody, and everybody be talking to me. So I think that's nice. I think that it makes you soften up, and it makes you just like, okay, like, it's okay to let your guard down. So I really like that part. People are a lot nicer. Another thing I wish I knew is about unprofessional businesses. So y'all, when I tell you, these businesses be so unprofessional out here, and I keep mentioning New York because that's where I'm from, but like, in New York, I feel like people really be like on top of stuff. Like, if you go and apply for a job literally anywhere, it's like, there's like procedure. Like, even if they don't call you back, you know you didn't get the job, but you might get an email, you might get a call back saying, look, you didn't get this position. But either way, everything is going to be clean cut. Whether you're working at freaking TJ Maxx, to a nightclub, to like a corporate job, like whatever you're doing in New York, I feel like it's going to be real like precise and clean cut, and these businesses are going to offer you like what you need. Like, I feel like New York is kind of by the book. Out here, they threw the book away. They threw the book away out here. Like, they are not by the book at all. Like, you will go in to like, let's say a nightclub for like an interview to be like a waitress, and they'll either hire you on the spot or they'll never call you again. They're gonna ask you for a headshot and a resume. They're never gonna look at it again. They just have a whole bunch of pictures of random girls from around Atlanta. Never gonna look at them, never gonna hire them. They don't give a proper interview. They want your social media for everything. Like, out here, your social media has to be on your resume if you're trying to be a waitress or work in some type of like tip providing business. Like, that's weird to me. Like, honestly, that is so weird. But like, I get it out here. Businesses are just so unprofessional. The management be unprofessional. They don't have any ethics. Like, it's just very unprofessional business out here. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot of black owned business, and I love it for us, but a lot of us need to like put on our corporate pants and understand how to run a business for real, like in all aspects. Like, I'm no shade, no tea, because Next, fake people. There's fake people everywhere, but there's fake girls out here. The girls be shady as hell. Like, you know, like they're real shady, real fake, real step on your toes to get ahead, opportunist. Like, that's a lot of the girls that I've met out here have been like that. Like, that's just the real deal of it. If you're coming out here and you're in your 20s and you're young, expect to be in like a doggy dog field. Like, if you're coming out here with a business idea, you're trying to be an esthetician, you're trying to be this or be that, expect the unexpected. Like, these girls that be smiling in your face just see something they can gain from you, and they're probably gonna try to like use you, flip you around, and then be on to the next girl they can get something from. It happens to a lot of us, but just be mindful and be wary of who you're friends with or who you're close with. Like, use your discernment out here, like heavy on your discernment. So the last thing that I have on my list is that dating sucks. If you guys haven't heard this or seen this in other videos, the population here is like 90% female, 10% men, and then 5% of that 10% men are. So I need y'all to understand that if you're coming here to date, this is not the place for you. I'm not saying that you can't find love. Of course, if it's meant for you, if it's written, you'll find love wherever you go, because you know what's for you will be for you. But this is not the place to look for love. If you find it, that's fine. If you stumble upon it, that's okay. If you trip over it, that is great. But don't come out here like, oh, I can't wait to start messing with these, you know, these dudes out here, these Atlanta, you know, these Atlanta men, these Georgia men, these Southern men. Like, don't get that in your head. Like, if it happens, it happens. If you're a pretty girl with a nice little body and you look good, you carry yourself nice, a nice young man will come and present himself to you. But like I said, he may be, or he may have a girlfriend, or he may have 8 kids, or he may have a felony, may have an ankle bracelet, may have a kid on the way. It's just like you can never tell out here. So dating does suck out here. So I would recommend 10 out of 10 if you are coming from a different state and you do have a man in your state. Don't cut all ties yet. Like, just hold on for 1 second, because a little, you know, just hold on for 1 second. Like, get out here, definitely date around, do your thing, have fun, but this is not the place to look for the man that you're gonna marry, because I promise you, yeah, that is all for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't take anything I said too seriously. Obviously, you guys have to get your own experiences. I want you guys all to still move out here if you're planning to. I've been out here for almost 2 years. Clearly, I wouldn't still be out here if I hated it. So take that as what you want to take it as. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in my next video.